Hi there. Now today, if a user visits your website using a mobile phone, if they're not on a 4G network, I can guarantee that they cannot have a good experience. They will have to wait around for the pages and images to load, and they'll be stuck with a perpetually spinning cycle we all know very well. Unless, of course, your application is built using the modern web technologies. Now, we love the web, and rightfully so. It changed the world in ways no one saw coming. It's one of those things like the Beatles' first album, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the end of the Cold War. The latter saw economies once trapped in closed systems freed, supercharging innovation that will change the world forever. Because just 1 year after the Berlin Wall fell, in December 1990, Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist, sent the first successful communication between a hypertext transfer protocol and a server via the internet, creating the World Wide Web. But it's important to note that that first browser Tim created, called the World Wide Web, doesn't greatly differ from the ones that we have today. Yes, we have added CSS and JavaScript to the hyperlinks the first web pages had, but we still build with HTML, HTTP, and all the other blocks that Tim and his team created all those years ago. The real difference, however, is that the web has grown immensely. Just to put things in perspective, the index web alone, only God knows how vast the dark web is, but the index web alone, when I checked yesterday, contains more than 5 billion pages. So yes, it's massive and growing every second. But the problems that plagued it all these years, they didn't magically disappear. The web could still be slow and poor connections. And frankly, there was nothing you could do about it. It's why native apps they became so big. And it's not like folks, they haven't tried. The processors over the years, they've gotten a lot faster. Browsers are a lot smarter. And there's no shortage of blog possible performance tips and tricks. Technologies like App Cache, they came to remedy all these problems and they failed. And as developers today, we can still attempt a network fetch, and if it fails, we can have fallback content from some kind of cache, maybe the last content that we got from the network. But still, we don't have full control. We have to wait for the network to fail before showing fallback content. And if the connection is slow, for example, well, the user still get nothing. So it's not enough. Which brings me to progressive web applications, which is just a modern way to build applications, including mobile, using pure web technologies and relying purely on the capabilities and strengths of the web platform. Now, with these new tools, we get rid of this. We can now build sites and apps that work great with whatever connection a user has, because we can finally address our biggest problem, which is this: poor Wi-Fi connections. Now, we know this happens if a phone is barely holding on to a connection. We've all been there. I have made a video on how browsing the internet works. I'll link it in the comments below. But briefly, this problem is due to the distance between you and the server where the app and data lives. A lot happens in between your phone and the server. Your phone sends off a request to the Wi-Fi router or cell tower, and then onto the ISP through intermediate proxies, and maybe across the world to the destination server, and back again when the server responds, again potentially across the world through proxies, through ISPs, over the air, until it finally lands on your phone. And as you can imagine, if something fails along the way, well, the whole thing fails. And if something runs slowly, then the whole thing runs slow. And the reason could be anything from a bad signal to an overcrowded router or tower you are connected to being overloaded. It could be just a busy faulty proxy, or the server just has a bug. Many things can go wrong, and it's a mistake for a business that relies on the internet to go this route. Research has already shown us that on a mobile device, even a 1-second delay can increase bounce rate by almost 50% and decrease conversion by 20%. Now, progressive web applications, they address all these problems. They have a feature called service workers, which gives us back control. Now we have options. We can use service workers to intercept network traffic and serve files fast if the network isn't available or it's unreliable. We can use the in-browser database and explore user experience strategies that deal with varying network conditions and updates. And that's just some of the ways we can build for the modern web, because just like it helped open up the world in the 1990s, with these new tools, we can turbocharge these efforts to level the playing field and give everyone a chance to build a world that they want. And with that, thanks for watching.